World Economic Forum has their meeting. We talked about that last week, and they had a whole panel, a whole section, various breakout sessions where they actually spoke about AI, transhumanism, and this idea of brainwave transparency. Have you guys heard of that? Brainwave transparency through earpods. So the new earpods that are going to come out are basically going to read your brain wave data, because what they believe is that basically all your thoughts and emotions and ideas are simply data that, if collected by AI, they would be analyzed and being shown in a graph of some sort, and be able to determine if you're working, if you're not working, if you're being productive, if you're not being productive, to be able to fight crime. There was one session where the WF said if somebody wears this kind of scarf, and you put the scarf on, and if your brain waves begin to sort of dwindle into inactivity, as you're maybe falling asleep at work or something like that, it'll give you a little jolt. And they literally joked about it. It'll be like a little electric shock to get you back on task. Pretty scary world. And pretty scary propositions about wearables, whether it's earpods or a scarf, or maybe one of those Fitbit things that they're going to come out. Eventually, brain transparency. Davey, we'll start with you. Brain transparency. Have you ever heard such a thing? I mean, this is sort of like the things of movies and what we just seen before. You see the brain pattern, but analyze it and now tell you something about yourself because of the brain data.
Well, it reminds me of what we've seen in China in recent years, in the school systems, where they have these attention monitors on the students all the time to see if they're paying attention and that sort of thing. I think it's a really kind of scary and really kind of creepy thought. I kind of think it's man wanting to play God again too. It's kind of like, can't help but think of that passage, like we're supposed to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Basically, that's what we should be doing with our thoughts, taking them captive to the obedience of Christ. This is kind of like the state, the government, or the company or whatever. We need to take our thoughts captive unto them, controlling what we think. And if I noticed in the video that you played earlier too, the one that was shown at the World Economic Forum, in that little video they played, the woman, when her thoughts went off track and she was thinking about her co-work and all the rest of it, there was a message that flashed up on the screen, basically saying it was unacceptable, and she was going to be penalized. And then she also got rewarded later on when she thought correctly. So it's a social credit type of system, just like China. So you'll be a slave to the system. You won't be able to think outside the system. Or if you do, you're going to be penalized. You won't be able to. You can see how they're going to bring it in and control your rewards. And
it's going to be a reward issue. It's going to be the merging of technology with human experiences, right? And eventually it's going to be this idea of a hive mind. Everybody has to think the same in a hive mind mentality. All your collective thoughts and ideas will be uploaded. This is the transhumanism dream, is to be uploaded to the cloud, and then the cloud will be able to give us all of our needs and desires, and dreams will be eventually be given to us, through technology. And so whatever you aspire to be, they're collecting all this data. Think about it. What would you collect this data for? Tracking, surveillance, eventually rewards. But ultimate goal is to really give people what they want, and to make them think in a certain way. Nothing like this has ever been done before, except in the spiritual world, if you think about it, through Satan and his minions, to try to influence man in a certain direction, a certain way. Jay, we'll go back to you. What are your thoughts on this? Are you willing to wear these wearables now? And maybe we should get something to try them out to see if we can actually, read brain patterns and see what we can find. All kidding aside,
I think I'd break it.
Yeah.
I'd break it instantly.
Scary.
We gave away our rights of privacy when the government started to do surveillance as far as our everyday activity in public. And we said nothing. When our smart devices started to listen in on us and be able to bombard us with different sales and specials and listen in our conversations and be able to market specifically to us, we said nothing. This is just a natural extension of the control that they've already been pushing. You know, it's in a world where you have unlimited government surveillance on its own population, you are naturally going to want to know what they think. And how do they bring it? It's a metric to see how good you're performing at your job. Nothing insidious at all about that. If my job were to examine my brain patterns when I'm working for them, they would be looking at it going, how is he's always stressed.
How's he getting the job
when
done?
is he not stressed?
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous, you talk about precedents, right? We're setting us very dangerous precedents. I mean, is it people don't care about this? They don't think it's a big deal? David, what do you think? Or just people have been just beaten down to submission to the point where they're not going to give in. They're not going to fight back. They're just going to give in to this.
Yeah, it's just, if I can just have a life, just let me do whatever needs to be done. But what interests me just first right off is Jay said about the surveillance of people. I don't know if there was a small article that people saw that some guy was supposed to be working at home, but apparently he wasn't working at home, and he was tracked, and he's now being sued for close to $50,000 for non-performance of his job.
Oh,
So
man.
they're going to not only know if you're working, know what you're thinking. You know, you'll everything will be planned for you, and you'll, as Harari says, and you'll like it. And it is dangerous because within hours, I think, or days of this AI chat opening, they had already counterfeited some celebrities.
Yeah.
And put out sayings and speaking for these celebrities that had never said it. So you can see right there, whatever man uses for good, it's going to be used for evil. You know, they'll tell us
Right.
every good thing that they can do, but they'll never mention all the bad things they can do and how they're going to prevent it. And as Christians, as true Christians, we have some great concerns with it because we will be hated by all nations. Jesus said that we'll be hated by everyone. And so they could be certainly turned very quickly on to Christians and on to Jews. And just like Jesus said,